Should I sell underperforming altcoins and move my money across to stronger performing altcoins right now? Which altcoins should I be selling and which altcoins should I be buying to be able to maximize my gains during the crypto bull market ahead? Well, in this video, I'm going to be answering those questions, and we're going to be looking at certain altcoins that I think are at great value right now and going to see some of the biggest upside during this bull market ahead. Without further ado, hit the like button. Let's get into today's video. Now guys, before we dive in and start answering that question, it's important to understand where we're at right now with regards to this crypto bull market, because this chart is showing us something very exciting is on the horizon. You see, Bitcoin is in this bull flag pattern and is very close to getting towards this green line. And when it hits this green line, something very exciting is going to happen, because this green line represents $27 billion worth of Bitcoin short positions that will get flipped into long positions. And when that happens, Bitcoin will be catapulted beyond all-time highs, and it will flip the market from disbelief into a belief phase, where we see massive growth happening across different crypto coins. But I know many of you are like, yeah, but you've said things like this before, and I've heard lots of other so-called crypto experts talking about there being a bull market ahead, and we're yet to see it. Well, I understand your frustration. It's a little bit like the boy who cried wolf, right? With the little boy shouting for days, saying that there's a wolf, and the people go out to help him, and eventually what happens? The wolf comes, the little boy gets eaten. Eventually, the crypto bull market's going to come, and all the bears are going to get eaten by the bulls. When it happens, can be a little bit troublesome, okay? But it's understanding that it's a when it will happen, not an if it will happen. And that's simply by understanding that crypto is closely linked to a global 4-year cycle, where we go through periods of expansion, periods of contraction. Right now, we are in a phase of expansion. Yes, the US is currently having high interest rates and has quantitative tightening, but every other country around the world pretty much has been printing money like crazy, which is why M2's been going up and effectively why Bitcoin's been going up. Other things that happened during this time is the overnight repo market, which is the US Federal Reserve Bank, has basically been moving from around $2.5 trillion all the way down to current levels. It started doing that on the 3rd of January 2023. Which is pretty convenient, really, because that's exactly when Bitcoin started to go up. And this basically should have you more bullish than ever, because the Fed has proposed cutting capital requirements for major banks by reducing the enhanced supplementary leverage ratio. That's a mouthful. What does it mean? Well, the Fed, while it hasn't been easing because it's been tightening, was passively easing while banks were taking their money out of the repo market. Right now, this is the Fed giving the banks a signal to go risk on, i.e. taking their money out to go and invest it into the markets. That's the money injection that we've been waiting for, and that's typically what we see every 4 years or so. But recently we've seen lots of change happening and it's been confusing, because obviously we had World War III started on Sunday and now it's Thursday and everyone seems to have forgotten about it. And we also had tariffs that came in like crazy and they seem to have quietly disappeared as well. Maybe they'll raise their head at some point whenever the market makers need to move prices around. Who knows, okay? But at the moment, we're in an expansion phase that will expand and towards the end of the year. So while we've been up and down through lots of chop, the end phase of the bull market, where all of the expansion kind of starts to happen aggressively, it's basically where the floodgates open, money floods into the system, altcoins go up like crazy everywhere. But not every altcoin will go up the same. So which altcoin should we be holding, and are we holding the right ones? This is the question that everybody is asking themselves right now, including this guy. Okay, I know it's a little bit scary, a little bit confusing, because I'm like, I want to have basically all my money in the one coin that's going to do like 100x. But what is that coin? And I don't know the answer. How do you know that I don't know the answer? Because if I knew the answer, I would just put all my money into that coin and I probably just wouldn't do anything else. Okay, I would just sit there and I would wait, because it's the easiest way. But there's a reason we have a portfolio of different coins. One, because it mitigates downside risk, and two, because we don't really know for sure which coin's going to do the best, okay? And because we hold different coins, we're going to be tempted to do different things, because we are going to continuously look at this crypto market full of promise and hopes and dreams and excitement of being able to make retirement money and wonder whether or not we are holding the right ones, and we're going to be tempted to move around. Here's the problem though. If you move around too much during this bull market ahead, you're going to find yourself in a bit of trouble, and I would avoid doing it. Because even if the whole market goes up, if you do this wrong, you can end up losing money. That's right, even with every coin going up, if you mess around too much chopping and changing, you will lose money. And let me explain why that is. If you're turning on this chart today, you're probably thinking to yourself, why am I holding this coin and why am I not holding this coin? Because today, You can see that Say is down 9.9% and Casper's up 5.7%. So maybe I should be holding more Casper than holding Say. Or maybe I should be holding more BCH than Fartcoin, for example. Okay? Here's the problem. If you go into this on a daily basis and try and make short-term decisions on your investments, you will end up with problems because you are investing right now for an end result which is selling sometime into November, December time, which is typically where we see the end of the bull market because of that expansion compression phase. I know you're probably hearing that maybe the bull market extends into next year. Who knows, okay? But if you buy right now, literally today, and you sell in November without doing anything, you'll probably make a lot more money than most people because most people mess around too much. They sell, they buy, they chop around, they don't know where they're going, they don't know why this coin's up and why this coin's down. They try and convince themselves that this is up for one reason and this is down for another. Dangerous, okay? Stop doing it. You've got to keep things calm. So, here's the thing. Firstly, you need to stop chopping around. There's a reason for that. And you need to understand this, that you don't understand what's going on. And here's the reason. Any of these coins on any given day is going to go up or down based on things that you're probably not aware of. This is not going up today and this is not going down today because lots of people have rushed in to buy it. Okay? Maybe more people are going in to buy it, fine. But actually, the things that are moving these markets, you also have like VCs injecting money. Maybe Say wanted to talk to their market makers today to tell them to bring the price down so that they can accumulate more for their treasury, whatever it is. Maybe Casper today is talking to their market makers and wanting them to push the price up a bit so that they can encourage more people to come into the system. There is way more to this than meets the eye. Okay? It isn't as simple as this has got great tech and a really strong community. Those things help, but there's a lot of other elements in here. So, if you are rushing across to buy a certain coin because another coin you're holding is down, typically you end up with a problem. Because actually, if you realize, and you were looking yesterday, Say was probably one of the biggest green bubbles on this chart. And today is one of the biggest red ones. Typically, if you buy big green ones, you get big red ones next. Okay? Because prices go up and down all the time. So don't make short-term decisions based on the charts in front of you. A coin is not bad necessarily because its chart has been going down for a few days. Okay? A coin is not necessarily good because its chart has been going up for a few days. Alright? Nothing against Casper or Say, by the way, using these as our examples because this is the biggest green bubble right now and this is one of the biggest red ones. And let me show you an example of this. Just a couple of weeks ago, there was a coin that everybody was talking about all across Twitter and everyone was like, wow, this coin looks amazing. Everyone was like commenting down below, oh, you should go make a video about Kita. It's absolutely booming. And then look, Kita, that was around here. Kita then came down 77% and is now starting to build up. Actually, Kita looks like a decent entry right now, somewhere around here, compared to how it looked up there. But typically, I'm sure a lot of people were selling other altcoins that were down in this zone to buy ones that are up here right now, and then they found in the last few days that the coins that they sold have gone up, and the ones that they've been buying have gone down. Okay? Happens time and time again. When you buy a coin, you need to just wait for a better time. You want to be buying in at the lows, when coins have been underperforming, not when they've been performing better, because you are just the same as everyone else. The coin needs to go up. And how does it go up? It goes up when more and more people start to talk about it, more and more people are focusing on it, but that means that they're already in. Who's left to buy from you if it's already up there? You get the point? So, I'm assuming that you've probably done some research into the different coins that you are holding. And if you've done your research correctly, then you would have focused on certain things. Narrative is very important, okay? I would say, narrative-wise, you could focus on Layer 1 ecosystems. You could focus on DeepIn. You could focus on AI. You could focus on AI agents. You could focus on meme coins. You could focus on real-world asset coins. All of these cryptos will have a good, strong run at some point, okay? We've seen already throughout this bull market, various assets see lots of strength. Also, gaming, I forgot to include in that, but also gaming is probably a good place to look. You should focus on coins that are towards the bottom of their ranges that have seen some sort of healthy activity recently. Look, this is Beam, had an absolute shocker, okay? But as you can see in the past, every single time the market is looking buoyant, Beam suddenly goes from nothing and it pumps up like hard. As soon as it starts to look quiet again, things don't look good, it dies off really aggressively. That's because retail really like this. Also, they've probably got a really healthy treasury, they're pumping in lots of money to their market makers when the market flips greedy again. So, if you're buying into coins that are holding a nice baseline here, then you can see what happens. Look, just a couple of days ago, Beam in a single day goes up like 30%. Okay? This probably makes for a very decent investment compared to some of the other ones you're looking at. Okay, like this. This is SPX. This meme coin, nothing personal against it. I know it's got a really bullish community behind it who are going to get really pumped up and really annoyed at me for saying this. But you can see it's up near all-time highs. Okay, so find another meme coin that is not up near all-time highs and is further down here. It's going to give you much better returns. If you're selling coins that are like down here, Sui, for example, to go and buy coins that are up here, you'll just find yourself in a world of pain, okay? All coins can go up, but they go up at different times for different reasons. Today, Sui might be down, but just a couple of days ago it pumped like hard, okay? This pump that happened for Sui was actually pretty early, okay? Back in like October time, Sui was running really strongly, and then you saw like XRP and Cardano and everything pumping when Sui was kind of going down a bit, okay? So don't get caught jumping around too much. Always is going to be a stinger for you. So obviously you got narratives. Also another thing that kind of tells you whether or not a coin's going to do well is how it performed during certain phases of the last kind of few years, okay? Say, as you can see, a layer 1 blockchain had a really strong move back in 2023. It then dies a death. Everyone thought it was terrible. It then has a very strong move at the end of 2024. It then dies a death. Everyone thought it was terrible. Then comes back up, and everyone's starting to think this is exciting again. Okay, so the kind of conviction can kind of be showed to you how it performs over multiple bull markets. Another thing, just as an example, this is a layer 1 blockchain. If you think about individual coins and think about what their use case is, think about the certain metric that is going to show you whether or not it's doing well or it's a useful, interesting coin. This is DeFi Llama. Layer 1, like to say, should be getting lots of volume. It should be getting used. It should have projects being built on it. Say is one of those, okay? You can see the stable coins are pumping up like crazy. You can see that the total value locked on Say is absolutely pumping. It's also an EVM compatible layer 1, which is pretty important, okay, because it's obviously going to benefit from the massive scale of Ethereum and the DeFi markets that are going to feed into Ethereum, okay? If you're investing in layer 1s that don't really have big volumes, that don't have projects being built on top of them, ask yourself, is it really a great layer 1 to be investing in? And then think about market caps. If you're wanting to have like a 20 or 30x, you're not going to get them in bigger market cap coins. It just fundamentally isn't possible because there's not that much money in crypto to be able to pump an XRP to like a $10,000 coin. Okay, I know people don't like that. Okay, but right now and in this bull market, there's not enough time for that much money to flood in. So keep it realistic. Okay, the benefit perhaps of holding an XRP or a Cardano or whatever, like a larger cap coin, is that when the market does have sell-offs like we've had recently, it doesn't get brutally destroyed down towards the downside. Understand that this is the casino, okay? If you go to a roulette table and you put all your money on black, then yeah, you get a 2-to-1 bet. There's a half chance that you lose, but there's also a half chance that you win, doubling your money. Not that exciting. But if you put all your money on number 9, okay, you have an opportunity to win something massive, but the chances of it happening are much less. Okay, that's what a smaller cap altcoin represents versus the kind of Ethereum or Bitcoin red or black bet. But unlike Ethereum and Bitcoin, those aren't going to go to zero. So in the case of Bitcoin, you've got like maybe a 50% gain or 100% gain potential to just sort of see it kind of return. Maybe over certain bull markets in the future, you see bigger growth. Ethereum from here probably goes to like 7.5 grand, maybe up to 9 grand if things go really well. Pretty decent bet. It's going to survive into the future, and that's actually pretty good returns. So what now? Which coins should you be focusing on? Which coins you should be moving around to? Well, ultimately, I wouldn't be moving around too much. The problem is, you're going to hear me sound incredibly convincing about a certain coin. You're then going to go and listen to someone else who sounds incredibly convincing about a certain coin. Your biases are going to be all over the place. Your emotions are all over the place. You're going to be caused to move over all the time. You need to have high conviction in the coins that you're holding, and simply by doing research, etc., into those coins, you're going to be able to be confident in them. The price action shouldn't necessarily give you the confidence, because Virtual's protocol would have given you a lot of confidence that you're holding the right coin and investing into the right place if you bought into it here. But right now you're like, I don't know if I made the right choice. You didn't if you bought up here because everyone was talking about Virtuals at this point. You would have made a good choice if you bought in down here. But you want to be buying into coins when you're starting to feel less certain about them. Virtual's protocol has a reasonable entry point here. It's not a coin I personally hold because it's already gone way out of these lows, okay? But it's still going to see a reasonable bull market from here, in my opinion. And build a kind of an understanding behind it as to why you're bullish on it that doesn't reflect in the price action, okay? Build for yourself conviction, okay? This is WorldCoin. It's a coin that I'm personally holding, and you can see it sits way down at these lows here. In the past, it's seen incredibly kind of volatile price action, which is something that I'm here for. If we get more volatile price action like this from these lows, I'm going to be pretty happy to be in it. If we can see right now, on the daily, just a couple of days ago, WorldCoin pumped up 23%. It's pretty healthy. When we came out of those kind of April lows into May, you could see that WorldCoin was basically coming to play 185% up. So that from a price action perspective, it looks pretty reasonable to me. What else do I know about it? Well, the founder of this project is the founder of ChatGPT's OpenAI. He's a guy who's working alongside Bill Gates and Microsoft. He's one of the most influential people in the world right now, building kind of AI, which everybody is focusing on. So why does everyone need WorldCoin? Well, I've started to realize this recently. People have been using my videos to try and scam people out of money by trying to give me voiceovers, telling them to invest in some like XRP fund or something else. This is a problem, okay? And you're probably seeing Joe Rogan videos all the time. Joe Rogan talking about stuff that he just isn't talking about. As AI develops, you need to have a proof of identity layer. Now, what WorldCoin's been doing has been onboarding users via scanning different irises to be able to give you an iris code that is linked to you. Now, people think this is some sort of crazy thing for the future. It doesn't link to your personal details or anything like that. If you go and do this for yourself and scan for yourself, you're literally just scanning your irises, okay? So if it upsets you that much in the future, I guess you could just wear some like contact lenses or whatever else. But it's basically linking to banks. It's already partnered with like MasterCard. It's also partnered with the likes of Tinder so that you can have proof of identity. And it's rumored right now that there's a future social media platform coming out being built by OpenAI. This right now for me is a bet on that particular platform, because if Sam Altman, one of the most influential men in the world right now, builds a social media platform that everyone starts using, that's integrated with ChatGPT, that has a payment solution that is the WorldCoin wallet that uses the proof of identity through the irises, then this is potentially going to be an enormous project with enormous returns. Because right now, AI has basically broken the old internet and how we use it. All those captures and everything you're using to log into everything isn't safe anymore. There needs to be another solution into the future, and WorldCoin really is the only one that seems to be doing it. It's the missing identity layer for crypto and AI. Now, I've just given you an example of my conviction in one of my investments, okay? You need to be able to talk about the coins that you're holding in your portfolio, not necessarily to sell them to anyone else or talk about them with anyone else, but so that you yourself know that whether WorldCoin goes up or down today, I'm still going to hold this coin because I'm confident in what it's going to do. Now, I don't necessarily know whether WorldCoin does 100x or a 50x or a 10x or whatever from here, okay? But I have a good bet based on where I think it's going to go in the future, based on my own sort of research. You get what I mean? And then if you do this with a few different coins, then you're going to be able to sort of hold it. So that today, if WorldCoin's down, but another coin happens to be up, I'm not tempted to swish around because I'm already in the ones where I have conviction. Now, here's something else that you need to think about. Just a couple of weeks ago, everybody was like, is it too late to get into Aether? Everyone was like screaming, should I be buying Aether? You've been talking about Aether for a long time. It looks amazing. I really want to get in. Should I get in? Okay, what happens? We then go through a bit of sideways chop. Then the market goes into kind of fear mode. Okay, so what happens is all the retailers who started aping in up here start to just get scared and rush out the market. Okay, price then comes back down to a point of accumulation, like it's sat in right now. Okay, now why do I feel happy and confident to hold a coin like this, despite the fact it's bled down here? Well, partly because I'm happy to previously have bought lows, okay, and if it gets down here, I'm happy to buy more lows. Why? Aether's a deep-in project. It has a real-world product, which is decentralized compute power. It sells this to pretty much all AI companies across crypto and outside of crypto. It makes around $120 million of revenue per year. What do you think they're going to do with that money every time we arrive back down here? Just going to quietly inject it back in. And as soon as the market gets greedy again, what do you think they do? They send their money back to the market maker to pump the price up. As soon as that greed continues, Aether will just continue on this previous trajectory. As long as your coins in the last kind of few months, since we saw those April lows, have started to show good, honest strength in here, you've probably got a pretty solid project. Okay, if you're holding projects that didn't really see much uptick here, you probably got a little bit more risk on your side. Okay, less kind of conviction in this area. Just another example. This is Aptos. Look, Aptos Layer 1 blockchain. Back here, 7th of April, pumped up 60%. Then it sort of quietly died down here. No one was interested. All of a sudden, it starts to bounce very strongly from this zone. Look at what it does every single time it's sat in this zone. If you're holding altcoins right now that are down at these levels and you bought them up here, yeah, I agree. I understand. It might be painful, okay? But as long as they're kind of showing bullish action every time the market wants to be bullish, you should be fine, okay? You should be fine. Don't try and make reasons in your head as to why it's a crap coin and why this is a good coin, because they change when the price changes. You should have conviction whether the price is kind of going up or down, because the prices are moving at different times for different factors, okay? For example, the Aptos, market makers, treasury, whatever they have behind the scenes, could pump the price like this in one candle if they wanted to. They just could, okay? Because it doesn't really take that much. I've been talking to market makers and talking to other like treasury management systems and whatever else, and every crypto out there is using a market maker, trust me on this, about my own crypto project, which will be launching soon. Okay, this is Perceptron.xyz. Go and check it out. You can go give us a follow over on Twitter, which is Perceptron Network, so that you can see what's happening with that. Real revenue generating businesses. Okay, but this is how I sort of managed to get behind the scenes and really learn what's going on with a lot of these projects. Don't be tempted to kind of make short-term choices and decisions based on very short-term price action. Bitcoin could take a little bit more time playing around here before it breaks up to this point. It literally could happen like in the next 10 minutes, or it could happen in the next 10 days. It doesn't really matter. Okay, but when this happens, this is going to be bananas for crypto. And a lot of people won't know which way to turn because some of your altcoins will just go crazy on that day, and others might take a little bit of time to warm up before they get those kind of catalysts going. And if I leave you with anything, let it be this. Just as an example, one of the top performing coins in the last bull market was Gala Gaming, okay? And why is that? Well, it's not because it was a particularly great, amazing project that was building lots of exciting things, because around this point, Gala was worth around $10,000 per individual player that was using the ecosystem, which effectively meant it had a massive valuation and no one was using it, okay? It sat sideways doing absolutely nothing, and then all of a sudden, one day, Facebook changed their name to Meta, okay? All of the kind of Meta projects, all of the kind of Mana Decentralands, everything just blew up. All the gaming stuff just pumped like crazy. Imagine if you sold out of Gala because you got bored and you went into something else and you were down on this point, down like 34%, being like, oh, but my Solana's up like 2x, I should just move my money into Solana. Then Gala Games goes and rips like this, okay? So it rips all the way from the 14th of November to around the 25th of November. It does like an 11x. In that same time, I think Solana had already finished its bull market and started to pull back about 30%. So Solana dipped 30% during this point after everyone was talking about it. Gala rips towards the upside. You have to be patient. Some coins will move really strongly at some times, other coins at other times. Just be patient. Getting stuck into some coins like this is lucky. Trying to ape into coins when they're up like here, just think about it for a moment. Who else is going to be less emotionally controlled than yourself? Who else is going to be as badly disciplined as you for buying that massive green candle, who's going to be buying the next one up here? Once Gala's got up here, think about how much bigger its market cap needs to get for you to make like a 2x, okay? All of these people down here have been making literally millions ready to dump on your head. Don't get caught buying big green candles. Happens every time. Buy into the fear, into high conviction, good strong projects, okay? Sui, good quality project that everyone's been talking about. And it's come down towards these kind of levels down here. Looking pretty good, in my opinion. And I'll give you another example. This is ICP, Internet Computer, a coin that everybody loves. Okay, well, not everybody. Lots of people love. And you have, like, they've just released this platform called Caffeine AI, where they're going to have, like, a self-writing internet. This is always amazing, very cool to have this stuff. It gets people fired up. But we want to think about whether or not that's going to be causing, like, supply shock. Are we going to have loads of people building these applications that use the ICP token? If not, that news kind of doesn't really affect us that much. But ultimately, whether ICP ever has like an incredible bull market or not, well, it's never going to go to this level, I can tell you that for free. Whether or not it can kind of return to like these levels, from where we're at right now, that's like a 4.5x. For it to kind of go like beyond that, up towards, let's say, this high, which is probably reasonable in like a full-blown bull market, like a decent quality project, 9x, unbelievable, okay? These are decent returns you just don't see in most normal places. Yes, you get the opportunities from time to time to see a solid, like, one coin that goes and rips and does like 50x or 100x, but those tend to be a little bit more based on luck. Because, let's be honest, if you're holding Gala Games in the last bull market and Facebook never made that change, probably would never happened, right? So that's just a little bit of a lesson for you. Right now, by entering into the majority of these different coins like Beam, like WorldCoin, like Aptos, like ICP, even like getting into like the XRPs and the Caspers and whatever you name, okay? Most of these coins are going to see some returns, at least back to the levels they saw in December and beyond, okay? So stop moving around too much. Have confidence in your own decision to get into certain coins. Now, if you're looking to join a community of people who've been in this game for a very long time, who have experience of bull markets, bear markets, and which coins to be getting into and which coins to be getting out of, then make sure you join the Moonhouse link down below in the description. Each and every week, we have a live Zoom call where we go over my own investment strategy, the different coins I'm personally investing in, and the 3 other full-time experts who are also supporting and working in that group. There's a chat group where you can go and ask myself and other experienced people across crypto about your own kind of concerns, concerns and issues with your portfolio, etc. There's also a tab for altcoin alerts. So all the different altcoins and things that we're personally buying for our own portfolios, we're also listing over there. So if you want access to myself to ask questions and other people within my community, then make sure you join the Moonhouse linked down below in the description. Now guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Obviously, in the short term, it's very difficult to read what's going on with crypto. Just rely on the fact that the long term ahead is very closely linked to global markets, and things will work out pretty positively if you're able to make calm, healthy decisions right now. Do me a favor, if you got this far through, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, of course, helps drive the algorithm, and as well, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already, subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.